Hello strategy gaming enthusiasts, my name is AlzaboHD. There are about 100 formable nations in EU5 that boast unique mechanics, exclusive advancements, and incredible government reforms, and in today's video we are going to take a deep dive into the most interesting of them all. These flavorful foundable fiefdoms are split into different tiers with varying requirements and are rarely apparent or easy to find in the 14th century, as they appear at no starting date. In this video guide, I've made my picks of the best potential polities and how to play them yourself, so let's uncover these secret states and overview what makes them so great. Salting off our list at number 10 is Carthage, a formidable formable located on the coasts of North Africa. To play this sodium-enriched kingdom, you'll need to ensure that Allow Ahistorical Formable Countries is selected in your settings, and select Tunis as your nation. Forming this Phoenician polity requires 105 total locations within North Africa, Sardinia, and Sicily, which is easy, as Tunis starts with 3 vassal subject states in the area. Advancing into Algeria for some pied noir and securing sardines in Sardinia will give you everything you need as early as 1350, and with the required areas we can revive Carthage from the depths of history. This changes your flag to the sign of Tanit and renames your capital to something unpronounceable. And while Carthage has since abandoned the worship of Baal Hamun, their Sunni religion is one of the best in EU5. The Islamic faith allows the accumulation of saves and the institution of savory, which is a great mechanic to boost your population. These raids can only be done on heathen populations, so North Africa will not net you interns, but Sardinia and Europe are ripe for a Barbary bounty. In addition to savory, Carthage's Sunni religion grants access to mysticism and jurisprudence, which allow either a plus 10% army morale and pop conversion speed if going mysticism, or plus 10% research speed and cabinet efficiency with jurisprudence, making this religion arguably better than Carthage's Catholic neighbors. Proto-Tunisia boasts 10 unique technological advances, including early game access to plus 10% trade capacity, 20% cheaper mercenaries, 20% more sailors, and a whole host of colonialism bonuses so that you can bring Carthage to California. Turtle Island awaits us far to the west, and here the Haudenosaunee rule as a formable nation that starts as a decentralized tribal confederation. Any of the 6 tribes of the Iroquois, 5 within EU5, can form this tribal kingdom, but uniting this land will require you to leave the initial tribal confederacy and annex your neighbors militarily, and with 4 against 1, this is not going to be easy. Thankfully, console commanding is easy, and once the tribes are united, we can form the Iroquois nation and automatically elevate our polity to kingdom tier. Haudenosaunee features the unique Clan Mother's government reform, which locks your polity into a tribal matriarchy of women-only rulers, and their primitive technology is misleading, as they can easily unlock map-making to start exploring and colonizing North America for themselves. As the only regional power in town, this tribal queendom controls their own market, which is almost empty, challenging you to create native industry and form the foundation of a powerful indigenous nation. Europeans are coming in about 200 to 300 years, and with proper preparation, colonization, and industrialization, the Haudenosaunee are well equipped to overthrow the British patriarchy and send the colonists back into the sea. The Celtic people of Europe have long since been Romanized by 1337, but if you're able to overthrow England and France under a druidic domain, you can form Celtica and flex on your friends and family. Much like Carthage, you'll need to enable ahistorical nations in the in-game settings, and select a nation that speaks a Brythonic or Gaelic language, like the Irish Minors or the Isles. Next, you'll need to ensure that you have the Celtic Traditions government reform, which our example of the Isles has at game start, but there's only one problem. Queen Boudica demands 90% of Ireland, Cornwall, Wales, Scotland, and Brittany, and the only polities capable of forming Celtica are tiny and surrounded by strong neighbors. Luckily, we can form one of the many Gaelic Tier 2 nations before Celtica, like the Old North, Northumberland, or Dalriada, as Celtica is a Tier 3 formable. If you're skilled like AlzaboHD, you can form this powerful polity before imposing your game, and if you do, Slancha, you will unlock 6 unique advances centered around culture, colonialism, and converting your people back to the old ways. All 3 Celtic markets have sheep for days and are more or less capable of economic autarky, and this nation is perfectly placed for a challenging alternative history colonial campaign. The only thing better than one Sicily are two Sicilies, and this finger-emoting fiefdom is an easily obtainable, yet flavorful formable you can found early on in EU5. Becoming this medieval mafiocracy is possible as either Naples or Sicily, as long as you eliminate the other one entirely, or for those that seek challenge, any other Sicilian or Neapolitan nation, so long as you control 80% of the locations in Sicily and southern Italy. On paper, you might think this is easier with Naples, as they are more powerful and the larger of the polities, but Sicily has a guarantee from Aragon and the Papal States. Both are solid options and have subject states in Greece, and when formed, allows you to move your capital to Napoli, grants legitimacy and prestige, and even gives you a free kingdom level title. The population capacity of Sicily is quite possibly the largest in the game, and allows you to stack millions of people with migration or savory to play tall, and for a late game challenge, you can form Italy to access some of the best institutional and literary advances in the game. Forming Sicily Squared grants 7 unique advances focused around trade and boosting your military, and the strongest of these grants a massive plus 10% army morale and plus 10% crown power that you can obtain in the early game. Their market is split between Tunis and Naples, and depending on your trade control, it might be wise to create a market in Sicily, which will grant you an achievement in the form of "It's just a business." Before we turn the page on our next polity, today's video is sponsored by The Last Book and Hungry Minds. The Last Book is crafted by a creative team that have launched an over 300-page volume filled with the greatest achievements of all of humanity. You might know about the book covering how to rebuild civilization in the event of Catpocalypse, but the last book goes even further and covers the uniqueness of humanity on a cosmic scale. This hybrid encyclopedia, part fictional adventure, tells the story of the last surviving human who is stranded in space, which is almost the same situation we now have on the corners of the known world. Both of these books make for excellent works of art, and I love how it brings my friends and family together as a conversation piece. Support AlzaboHD and get your friends and family the gift of The Last Book and the book with a special Christmas discount using the QR code on screen or in the description box below. I'd like to thank Hungry Minds for sponsoring today's video and wish you all a Merry Catmas filled with art, literature, and knowledge. Playing tall isn't easy in the flattest region of the flattest continent, but the Netherlands at number 6 make the lowlands worth playing if the spice must flow. The deluxe Dutch ducky can be formed by any country within what the game calls the Netherlandish cultural group, so long as you own 30% of Swamp Germany. While Brabant is larger, they are Belgian, and thus I cannot recommend them. Instead, you should play as Holland, which has 8 of the 28 required provinces. These lowlands have 6 unique technologies that boost literacy, give you a unique regular regiment, boost art and trade, and grant plus 10% crown power and parliamentary support. Given that the Bruges market is controlled by Flanders, which is itself a vassal of France, you'll have to battle against the Big Blue Baguette, and this makes the Dutch campaign an exercise in pain, or pain. The most dedicated players in Eisenman mode can unlock the Je maintiendrai achievement by forming this nation, and with control over the Dutch Channel trade, money talks, as becoming economic hegemon as the Netherlands is easy peasy. For a complete guide on how to form this nation, we've covered a Holland to Netherlands campaign on the channel, so be sure to check it out with the card at the top of your screen. Alsjeblieft. España alaikum, and welcome to what Iberia looked like 600 years before the 1337 starting date, when Al-Andalus was a more powerful polity. Andalusia is basically Spain, but better, and that's because of the savory population boost mechanic unique to their religion, which we've covered previously. This Tier 3 Taifa can be formed by any Maghrebi or Iberian nation besides Morocco that is Muslim, owns 420 locations of the Iberian Peninsula, and reconquistas all remaining Christian countries south of the Pyrenees. Choosing Andalusia is easiest by saying the Shahada as Castile, Aragon, or Portugal, but if you want to do things the historically accurate way, you should play as Granada, though this won't be easy. Mashallah, Martel's Nightmare even allows conquistadors like other Iberian cultures to make the Moorish Mexico you never knew you needed. Playing CK3 in 1337 AD is not only possible, it is profitable, and the Tier 2 polity of Jerusalem is among the most interesting nations to play in EU5. This Holy Crusader state can be formed by either Cyprus, Naples, or any Catholic country that has the military order government reform, and owns 75% of the locations in the Levant known in-game as the province of Philistine. By using religious influence, you can request a crusade from Father Fettuccini if you have the piety, and once you Dead Seas, the land of milk and honey, you can move your capital for free and convert the population to Christianity via event automatically. This Kingdom of God gives you 5 free advancements centered around boosting your military and converting the Saracens into wine-drinking enthusiasts. Jerusalem is by far the most religiously diverse domain in-game, and allows you to convert to basically any Abrahamic faith so long as you abandon your military order reform. Completing the 9th Crusade in Iron Man mode grants you the Crusader King's achievement, and this will be one of the most difficult, as Egypt and their 33,000 strong army dome rocks the Kasbah and isn't keen on losing Al-Aqsa. It's time to break out the windows and welcome Russia, the 3rd most powerful and interesting empire in all of EU5. Russia is formable as any East Slavic cultured nation that controls Moscow, Novgorod, and 50% of the Russian, Uralic, and steppe regions, though forming it as the Muscovite cultured Muscovy is by far the most optimal for the reasons I will now explain. Muscovy starts with 6 states in a personal union, and if you form Russia as them, you gain 182 unique events, which is probably the most flavor in the entire game, though this wouldn't be Eastern Europe without life on challenge mode. One notable disaster is the Time of Troubles, but if you're able to overcome it, you get the best government reform in the game, the Collige. This late-game government reform reduces the proximity cost of all locations in your nation by 10%, by far the best modifier in the entire game, to squeeze out effectively 1/10 more tax, manpower, and trade across the board, in addition to plus 20% cabinet and administrative efficiency. Apologies to Ruthenia, you give no advances and way less flavor, but Rushing B gives you Flavor Town and 3 unique techs that give plus 10% crown power, military tactics, and plus 5% population literacy. The drop bars like Dostoevsky. Forming Russia grants you an automatic Empire tier title, as it is a tier 4 formable, and Russia benefits from 2 achievements that are readily available. These include Break the Yoke, which you'll get from forming it in the first place, and Total Control, which is easy on account of the Collige reform granting plus 10% proximity, which you can chain with bailiffs, roads, and the increased control cabinet action for an absolute Soyuz Sovietsky. Raiding and annexing their way across the known world are the Tajiki Timurids, who are the 14th century equivalent of a nuclear weapon. This Chinggis Khan successor state is far from Tamerlane, and is the ultimate choice for players seeking to conquer the world and for those that want to min-max their conquests for maximum efficiency. In 1337 AD, Central Asia and Persia are reeling from the collapse of the Mongolian Empire, and consist of the cousins of the Khan trying to hug each other for control over the Ilkhanate IO. Unluckily for them, they won't become Demi, but they do get the inferior ability to declare war with a free CB that reduces conquest costs. Only Bardosh, Chagatai, and the Chagatai subject states get access to the Rise of the Timur event, which fires between 1360 and 1400 AD for the nation that controls the location of Samarkand. If you control the Silk Road city and wait a few years, it's Timmy time. This event allows you to play as the Formable Horde, and as we used the console to trigger it a few years earlier, we're an infant chicken nugget. But in a legitimate campaign, your new leader has plus 50% army levy size, all of the best traits in the game, and most importantly, the ability to auto-conquer when at war. Unique to this nation is the ability to plan invasions for a free CB, and just look at the fear our former overlord has at the sight of Little Timmy. Every single land we take in war becomes our core automatically, and this allows you to basically conquer the world in a single lifetime. If Timur dies before you get bored, you can form the Mongolian Empire for even more unique advancements and events, but as EU4 veterans know, the real challenge is playing a campaign in its entirety, and if you do, you unlock the power of patience in Iron Man mode. At the top of Flavor Town are the undisputed Qings of Asia, and my personal favorite formable nation, which you can name as either the Manchu or the tribe of later Gen. This Tier 3 Jurchen kingdom can be formed by any of the Jurchen cultured tribes who are subject to the Great Yuan dynasty, and I'm partial to Ye as they have the strongest army and easiest shot at forming the polity. The usurper Mongolian dynasty will in almost every case disintegrate and lose the mandate of heaven with an early game disaster known as the Red Turban Rebellion, which is an excellent opportunity to create your Manchurian state. Once you possess 50% of the locations in northern China, you can form the Manchu, which will fire the event the later Jin, allowing you to decide between embracing your Jin legacy for the excellent warring state reform, which grants a CB that makes conquering land in China effectively free, the ability to seize occupied territory automatically, and the ability to claim the mandate of heaven, or the choice to become the Manchu for prestige. And I think that's about it. Wow. No matter the option, you'll receive a bounty of historical flavor on account of your people forming the Qing dynasty, and in Iron Man mode, you unlock the Manchurian Candidate achievement once becoming the Emperor of China. Zhonghua has around 30 gold provinces, so the Pile of Gold achievement is also possible for either of these two Manchurian monarchies. There are about 100 formable nations as of the making of this video, and I'd like to list some of the honorable mentions that couldn't quite make the cut. The Incan Empire seems fascinating and certainly rich with silver and gold. Europa seems like a proper late game challenge as it requires more territory than the Roman Empire, and the Aztecs seem like a nightmare, with their doom mechanic likely making their formation currently impossible. It's now my turn to ask you what formable nations you find the most interesting in EU5, and you can let me know in the comment box below. Support AlzaboHD for free by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, which lets me know if you'd like to see more top 10 EU5 content like this in the future. This video was sponsored by The Last Book, and if you'd like to support me even further, please consider becoming a channel member or a patron for bonuses like early access to future videos and your name in the credits, population EU.